Welcome to the MSP Corner podcast. Before we kick off our show, we would like to share what our main objective is at the MSP Corner. Our main goal is to help CEOs build profitable and self-sustainable IT service firms. We are not just providing tools for IT firms, we will be sitting in meetings with you to ensure your IT firm stays on track. The first area we are focused on, strategic sales. IT firms are stuck selling technology or IT support. We will provide you with the blueprint so you position your firm as an added value to your prospects. We will have framework on how to sell value so you influence the prospect into selecting your firm. The second area we see many IT firms struggle in is marketing. 90+% of businesses rely on antiquated marketing methods. The most popular choice, word of mouth. We have proven methods on how to attract the ideal prospect. Our framework will include how to become the online authority and be the business influencer for an industry. The third component to our package, scaling. IT firms walk away from opportunities because they lack the bandwidth or skill set to scale. We have lined up reputable businesses so our members can hire on-demand resources that will allow them to scale their business. The fourth area we will offer help in, selecting the right tools. In order to deliver value, you need the right tech stack. Our platform will offer information on products that are the ideal choice for MSPs. The fifth area we will offer help in is with documentation. Templates are a critical component when building an MSP. We will have contracts, proposals, SOWs, collateral, and much more in the template section. You will have every document you need to start up your managed IT service business. Thank you for tuning in. Let's go to our next podcast.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our podcast. I am your host, Fernando Leon. And today's show is, the title is AIO Integrations, the DLP discussion. But before we get started, I always have a short agenda. And first up is, an introduction on AIO and Jason Kocienski.
There you go.
I didn't do too bad. We're going to quickly go over some talking points, his military experience, AIO integration, some of the biggest mistakes he sees in IT, challenging problems he's helped clients solve, and how cyber threats are evolving, because they're constantly evolving. So let me do Jason here a solid by introducing him. And Jason is currently the CISO at AIO Integrations, a leading provider of comprehensive IT solutions. And as he is the owner of Digital Overwatch, a veteran-owned cybersecurity division of AIO Integrations, he brings over 25 years of experience as a former U.S. Army officer and military intelligence veteran and corporate security officer. Jason leverages his deep expertise and disciplined approach to protect and enhance corporate IT environments, delivering reliable, secure, and innovative cybersecurity solutions tailored to meet the unique needs of businesses within the AIO integration ecosystem. And a quick plug on AIO is, they're more than just a technology provider. They are a business strategist first, and as a digital partner of innovation for Digital Overwatch's cybersecurity division, AIO Integration specializes in identifying cutting-edge technologies and managing MSP operations that align IT investments with real business goals. Together, they deliver scalable, cost-efficient solutions, typically reserved for Fortune 500 companies to small and mid-sized businesses. They also recognize that every business is unique, and if you didn't buy your business in a box, your IT shouldn't come in one either. Their collaborative approach balances people, processes, and technology to create tailored, strategic IT solutions that deliver measurable business value. All right. So, Jason,
Yes,
tell us a
sir.
little bit. Tell us a little bit about how has your military experience shaped your leadership style and approach to cybersecurity and IT, solutions?
Okay, it's a good question. So I spent about 15 years total in the military, and during that time, I had the privilege of serving, excuse me, both as an enlisted man early in my career, and then eventually I became an officer. And as an officer, what I really learned was the importance of leadership specifically. Servant leadership is something that I really gravitated towards, because I really believe that in order for your team to be successful, your role as a leader is to make sure your team has what they need to be successful. Right at the top, what I look at is task and purpose. Right? If it's very easy for somebody in leadership to give out tasks and to set agendas, but if they don't communicate that purpose to their employees, they're going to run into some problems. Best example I ever have was one of my vulnerability management team members. I just taken over the IT cybersecurity for a company, and was going through some vulnerability management reports. Found some findings that were really good. I was really impressed. And when I went and found the team member who had found those findings, found out he was a help desk gentleman who'd gotten promoted into the security field without any real training. He didn't understand the value of what he was providing. And being able to show him how finding that vulnerability really protected the company really helped open his eyes to his value and into what he meant to the company. So servant leadership, really important to me.
Yeah, and I like um, how you approach the whole situation. Right, you gave somebody credit that deserved the credit, and giving them recognition. I tell you that right there, it really boosts morale within an organization and the team members. So people need,
Absolutely.
yeah. Oh, that I'm big on that. I'm big on recognition. I'm not big on taking credit for anything because I have a big team behind me,
That's right.
and yeah, and I can't do my job without them. So I love to give that recognition and credit. So I that's kudos for you because that's big. That's big.
Well, you said it in the beginning, or when you were introducing AIO as well. It's about people, processes, and technology in that order, right?
Yeah.
People need to come first because people ultimately own the responsibility for getting that job accomplished.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. So tell us what sets AIO integration and digital Overwatch apart from other IT service providers in the B2B space.
Sure. So when I left corporate America in the military, I want to bring Fortune 500 capabilities to the small business. They need it as much as everybody else. What I didn't realize though, when I stepped into, call it the MSP space, is that small businesses definitely don't have the representation that large companies have. Large companies have entire divisions dedicated to identifying what technology they want to bring in, what security features they want to bring in. Small businesses, they don't have that. They typically have local companies who can offer exactly what the client asks for, but not necessarily needs. So in our partnership with AIO, what we really kind of worked together on is building that custom solution for clients. I stated in the beginning, nobody bought their business in a box, or very few people, right? They built it.
Yeah.
And their IT, which drives their business, really needs to be customized so that their IT aligns to their business and not the other way around. And then when it comes to security, we understand we're business people first. So we understand what needs to be secured. How can you restructure things so that you don't have to pay heavy license fees for everything? You secure what's important.
Yep.
One of the more common things that people are starting to hear about today is DLP, data loss prevention. It's a tool that I have not seen in any of the clients that I've worked with since starting working with AIO and starting Digital Overwatch at the small and medium-sized business level. These businesses run on data. They bring in tremendous amounts of data, And many of them don't even understand where their data is, where it comes from, who should have access to it. They don't understand necessarily the compliance requirements for protecting that data. Data loss prevention has a lot of tool sets and a lot of capabilities within that space to provide them with that value. But like I said, there's three parts to it. There's the people part. You have to have people who understand it. There's the processes. You need to have those documented. You need to make sure that everybody's onboarded into those processes. And then you come down to the technology. There's some really good technologies out there, but you need to find the one that's right for your company, right for your budget, and one that when it comes to the people side of the house, has that expertise that manages that solution, so that you don't have to so that you can focus on your business and not start becoming an IT shop.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's a really good point, because if you don't have the people behind you, you're gonna fail. We had this conversation with a firm that got hacked because they they had a little bit of a different problem. they they had great people, but
Mhm.
they didn't have great processes.
Right.
They
Yeah.
failed when it came to processes. And on top of that, they had all the sexy tools you would
Oh yeah.
want in an infrastructure, and they still failed.
See it
And
all the time.
yeah, yeah, we see it all the time too. And it's like, look, you need strong leadership. You need strong leadership, like somebody like you that can come in and quickly summarize. Look, you guys have all these gaps. There's gaps everywhere. And based on your industry, you should have this in place. Because, like you said, the businesses don't come wrapped up in a pretty little box. So their security and IT strategy shouldn't either. So everybody has unique challenges and unique requirements. But I honestly feel DLP could fit into a lot of those requirements. DLP is just so amazing what it can do, the power it can do. So I was talking to my wife, works for a public company, and they were going over some data. And I go, you know what would be a really good fit for you guys? I told her to just bring it up in her meeting. I go, DLP can solve a lot of these challenges for you guys, because they weren't getting the production out of a lot of their employees that they wanted. And I
Sure.
go, look, DLP can track a lot of information. How much how are they actually doing work? Are they actually on Netflix? Are they on
Yeah.
social media? How many words did they type? I mean, there's a lot of data that can be collected. But yeah, man, DLP, damn, I'm shocked how much data it can collect.
Well, and that's kind of the cool thing about DLP too, is that it from a straight doctrinal security standpoint, it's about trying to prevent the loss of that data, whether that be loss from use, which requires business continuity planning, or loss of copies of that data, hackers getting control and trying to monetize it. But the same solutions in the way they operate can be used for some other things. We've had some great success with that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The data loss prevention is definitely a very powerful feature. But man, it's just not that. I mean, it's just not just that, right? There's so much, it can do so much more. And it's just amazing how these guys come up with such innovative technology that's just can just improve the overall environment, and overall just how much impact it could have on an organization. So I love it. It's awesome.
Oh, a tremendous amount. Absolutely.
Now, what are some tell us a little bit about some of the biggest challenges you've helped clients solve, because as you've been in this business a long time. You see a lot of challenges,
Sure.
a lot of pain, right? There's
A lot of pain. A lot of pain. A lot of
a
pain.
lot. Tell us a little bit about the pain you're solving, and what did you do to solve those challenges?
Sure. I'll kind of start from the standard, the standard interaction I have with a new client. If I meet them at a networking event, or if there's an introduction, they confident, they're speaking about their business, they understand it, they love what they do, they love their trade craft. But then when we sit down and really start kind of digging in, conducting an assessment, that's when some of the fear comes out, right?
Hmm.
Fear of having to spend another 20 hours a week going through all of their data, not knowing where it is, not being able to get that grasp on the IT side of it. People get
Hmm.
scared. They kick it down the road a little bit. One of the most common things that I see, I stated lack of strategy, but that's kind of all encompassing, right? Look
Hmm.
at DLP strategy. There's an actual mindset or a strategy that you put in place for how you want to implement DLP. What does it give that business owner? The ability to know where is your data?
Hmm.
What,
Hmm.
what is your data? Who
Hmm.
who who has access to it versus who should have access? And
Hmm.
once you define those, that's when you can start really looking at protecting it. Because how do you protect what you don't know exists?
Yeah.
Um, and what's really crazy about it is during those assessments, we don't only identify major gaps in security with the use of DLP, we're able to understand and identify the value of that data, not only to the hacker, which is very valuable. Our tool set and our capabilities have the ability to evaluate your entire environment and identify where your data is it how often it's leaving the environment in an uncontrolled manner, if that data was encrypted at the time that it left, which oftentimes is no. But the monetary value to a hacker if they were able to get that data and sell it on the dark web, but also the monetary value to that company, right? Data is powerful. Data
Yeah.
has the ability to improve your marketing, improve your sales. What a lot of people don't look at because they're just grinding every day is, could I use my data to improve my operations? And that's really probably one of the funnest things that we've done with our clients is I have a client from we started probably about a year and a half ago where we were brought in just to secure the environment, and we found out very very quickly early on that there was a lot of need in that space. I'll just kind of leave it lightly. Retail environment, they do a lot of order intake, they ship out a lot of product, far more transactions than a lot of your smaller retail environments, for sure. And what we identified during our assessment was there was data everywhere,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
just all over the environment. So the first thing we have to do is we have to define the environment, really get an understanding of, again, where are those vectors for data coming in? What do you do with that data? Who has access to that data? What systems does it exist on? And then restructure that. Really
Hmm.
try to centralize the data, get some controls around it, get some policies in place to really understand. If I'm saying I'm going to encrypt your data, to what standard? How often? In transit, in use, in storage. I mean, those are the things that you need to consider. Well, once we get that environment secured, so once we got that environment secured, we continued using data loss prevention uh, technology to secure their environment, let them know if people are getting access to their data that shouldn't, and then we actually have the ability to trigger that data after let's say you're a notary shop, for example.
Hmm.
You get a lot of personal information, right? That's critical information for your clients, but you may only action on it for about 3 or 4 days before it's no longer needed. But you still need to save it. Well, we can actually set up different types of data, different sensitive levels of that data can be encrypted at different times, depending on if they have not been used. So what we typically do is evaluate the business. We look at the type of data they're dealing with, and then we ask them, is this data that you're going to work on for 3 or 4 days straight, send back and forth between team members? How can we put that data into a collaborative environment and then automatically encrypt it after 3 or 4 days of not being used? Uh, then if a threat actor does get the ability to penetrate their environment, they can steal that data, but it's going to be of no use to them. And
Yep.
that's really the power of DLP, is keeping it valuable for the people who need it, but removing any value whatsoever from the people who get a hold of it who shouldn't.
I was talking to Robert about that, and that is some really cool technology. That's impressive. That, yeah, you could have uh, Nope. They're just implementing strategies to protect data. So if it is somebody did they, because it's not a question of will you get hacked. It's when will you be hacked.
That's right.
And Robert was saying always be protected, and I love his approach. He's so right, because you just don't know when it's going to happen. It's just, when is it going to happen? You want to be ready. So what?
Oh,
So
absolutely.
so this leads to the next question. So what are some of the biggest IT mistakes you see businesses making? Because I'm sure you've seen a lot of them, but can you give us like your top 3 common mistakes that are being made? Because I know I can just run off quite a few, but I'd like to get your feedback on that.
Right at the, starting at that IT strategy level is people not understanding, business owners not understanding what their responsibility is when it comes to data protection in general.
Mhm.
As a business owner, you should have an SSP, a system security plan, written. And if you're doing any work with state and local governments, that's probably going to become more and more of a requirement. Same thing if you're getting cybersecurity insurance, you really need those artifacts built out. Part of that system security plan is having the policies and the procedures in place to actually meet that plan. DLP strategy is DLP policy is one of the first things I would put in there. So if you're a small business owner, get your system security plan written or find somebody who can write one. Make sure it includes a data loss prevention strategy. Make sure it includes an incident response strategy.
Yeah.
And what you're going to find is that these solutions are very valuable, not in just protecting you, but also helping your business to grow and stay current. The other thing that I see is, again, you start your company, you're running it. Your idea of IT is the computer in front of you and the phone, in your hand. But what you don't realize is you still have the back end IT that a major company has. You have your cloud-based services, you have your finance systems, you have all of these different. You have your building Wi-Fi or even your home Wi-Fi that needs to be protected. All of these components, the technology to be able to provide security solutions today has never been more affordable. But you can't fall into the trap of, well, I bought this package online and it says it does everything. It doesn't.
Mhm.
There's no
Yeah.
package that does everything. You need people behind it to monitor it. A
Yeah.
perfect example I'll give is I was given a security awareness training to a company. I actually had to email the presentation. They didn't have HDMI capability, emailed it to them. And as I'm working with them to go through their email to find that presentation, I'm seeing security alerts
Ooh.
or for data exfiltration, for potential viruses on system. And the response I got was, well, no, we bought this package. It says it takes care of it. It's like, well, it's not. And what's
Yep.
worse than that is you're not storing or monitoring those alerts to see if you are protected.
Yep.
So just, the one thing people need to understand is hackers, if they get into your environment and if you're a soft target, they're going to keep coming back. More
Yep.
importantly, if you have something of value, they're going to make sure that you're either unaware or not disrupted. So you keep on producing value because you're a moneymaker for them. I
Yep.
see a lot of companies that are losing data, their passwords are on the internet, but they feel, hey, my system's still working. I'm still selling. I'm still collecting, giving out paychecks. I'm not being hurt. Customers are, based on the monetization of that data.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good example of that. Just because your network is working doesn't mean that you're protected. And
That's right.
I've never heard anybody actually say that. And that's a very interesting point you just made, because people feel like, I've read articles on hackers. They've discovered that hackers on average are on your network 7 months out of the 7 months after being discovered. They've been
That's
there
right.
for quite a long time, because they're doing exactly what you just said. They're collecting data.
That's
You're a
right.
treasure trove. You're a treasure trove for them.
That's
It's
right.
amazing. It's amazing. Yeah.
I,
And
I've seen some folks after we take them over and we start, we like to do some dark web scanning to really kind of see what's out there on our clients. And we've seen clients who they change their passwords, that automatically it's set to change their passwords every 6 months. And every
Mhm.
6 months, their new password list is out there. within a couple of weeks of them changing it. Somebody's getting that information. Somebody's constantly popping out there, but the company owners think they're doing everything that they can.
Yeah.
When's the last time, you hire on a lawyer, you hire on a financial advisor, a bookkeeper, lawn care, right? Hiring on somebody to help you develop that IT strategy and know to make sure to put in DLP, to make sure to put in XDR and some of these other capabilities that provide excellent security protection. It's part of that business responsibility, and it's, again, easier now today than ever before.
Yep, I agree. So tell me, with cyber threats constantly evolving, what should businesses be doing right now to protect themselves? At least the bare minimum. What is your advice to CEOs of MSPs who are protecting their clients? Because a lot of them just think, oh, I'll just put EDR in place.
That's right.
Oh, we got backup. We can instantly recover data. And really, that's it. That's all they're doing.
That's right, and that's a lot of what I see when I go into client environments that have been breached. And one of the things that I hate is taking over a client from a competitor that I know, really good people, right? We've maybe had drinks together, coffee together, and I'm taking them over because that client was breached. Yeah. With everything that MSP has done, that client was still breached, because what the MSP never did is took into consideration the value of that data that goes through that company, the different vectors that come in, the way that data goes out. And I'll tell you, a customer small businesses oftentimes don't understand IT. So whether the environment that you were protecting was compromised, or the way they're sending out that data potentially to insider threat probably being the biggest one. You have an employee who maybe they're trying to build a similar business on the side. They have access to all your data. How are you protecting that? What services can MSPs offer to their clients? Because their clients don't have time to do that research. They're focusing on their business, and their business is not IT. So as an MSP, are you really getting intimate with that client? Are you really learning about how the business works and what their data's value is, both to them and to the threat actor? And do you have the right services in place, like a DLP capability, to be able to provide that?
Yeah, no, I agree. No, it's the threats have not slowed down, and they're constantly changing. And I don't see this even coming to a pause or slowing down. It's just constantly. They're getting so creative. Hackers are getting so creative with not only social media, but I was doing some research on malvertising. I don't know how familiar you are with malvertising, but I'm just shocked. The creativity of these guys is just so amazing. It's like they're using their evilness for their evil behavior. For just constant, they just want to wreak havoc on just, I don't know what it is. Somebody, a girlfriend did them wrong, or they're unhappy people, but they are just constantly wreaking havoc.
One of my favorite stories is I was sitting with my boss when I was working in corporate, and he got a phishing email, and it was one of those simple ones, a hacker sending a very, very simple email trying to convince him to send $500 to an account, about as simple as you can get. We immediately knew what it was, right? And so my boss, he actually emailed the guy back and just said, "Hey, I'm in this field. I know what you're trying to do. I just got to know, why is it worth it?" And what the guy sent back, it took about 10 minutes for him to email us back. It was one paragraph. He said, "I send out over 10,000 emails a week, and I always get 50 people."
50?
Do the math. Do the math, right? That's $25,000 a week. That's I know why he does it. Thankfully, I was kind of raised different, right? And I've been very, very blessed to live comfortably. But $25,000 a week is a lot of money. I understand, and with virtually no repercussions, right?
Yeah.
Once that money's gone, once that data's gone, even if it can be tracked, try going to your local sheriff's department.
Yeah.
I've done it.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, my daughter, when she was in college, she had her credit card information stolen. We were able to find out who did it.
Yep.
And yet we went to the sheriff's department, couldn't help us. We went to the sheriff's department in the town where the person lived, not even in our state. They couldn't help us.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
ultimately on the business owner or the person.
Well, we've had so many interactions with the FBI,
Sure.
and they don't do anything. Nothing is done. It's crazy. It's crazy to us.
It is.
But
It is.
yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing how these guys they've been able to come up with a model that it just constantly is benefiting the criminal, and it's crazy. It is nuts.
It is, and what it requires some self-reliance in this space. And again, like I said, if you're a business owner, you're always trying to make sure your cash flow is good. You're trying to make sure your customers are taken care of. Whatever your business is, you're trying to execute on your trade craft. But there are other components to the business, especially when it comes to IT strategy and security, that you really do need to have a plan for. And each plan is a little different for each company. But
Yep.
the core components, DLP, incident
Yep.
response, those are critical.
Yep. No, I agree. All right. Well, I appreciate you making time for us, because that was my last question for you. So I'm just going to share your URL for AIO Integrations. Anybody wants to get in touch with Jason. Well, first, let's get the URL out there. It's www.aiointegrations.com. And there is an MSP Corner web page if you want to get a discount on their products and services. So just send me an email at info@mspcorner.com. I'll get you that URL. But Jason, I just want to say thanks again for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
And letting us put you on the hot seat, because this was some great information I shared.
It was a lot of fun, and I appreciate it.
You got it. All right. And to everybody, our audience, thank you for listening. And don't forget to sign up to be a member on the MSP Corner site, www.mspcorner.com. Please share our link with a CEO who will find our information beneficial to their business. Thanks again for listening. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening. And don't forget to sign up to be a member on www.mspcorner.com. Please share our link with a CEO who will find our information beneficial to their business. Have an awesome day.